Hey, we're back with another exciting, talented book author. And this time, we were speaking with Serena King in Atlanta, Georgia. And, I jetted all the way back to St. Louis, Missouri. And lo and behold, I have another wonderful, talented artist, uh, book author, also an artist as well. This guy here does a couple of things known as Christopher Kaiserific. Did I do that right?
It's actually Miss Kaiserific.
Kaiserific, but your name is Christopher, right?
Yes.
So I got that right. So it's Christopher Kaiserific. Just the stage name is Kaiserific,
Right.
and everything. First of all, I want to say welcome to the show and congratulations on you just came out with a wonderful book, and we're going to talk about your book in a minute. But first of all, tell us a little bit of something about Kaiserific and what is it that you do here in St. Louis, because we're back here now.
Well, Kaiserific is a spoken word artist as
Okay.
well as an author. I published I recently just published 9. This is my ninth
Nice book, yeah.
I do a lot of stage shows more for entertainment wise as spoken word and poetry to uplift, motivate, encourage most people.
Okay. Now, here in St. Louis, and I know the Atlanta market also has a spoken word community as well. So, one of the other shows that, by the way, as you knew, that Who's Next to Blow, we were working on actually doing that television show as well. But at the same time, I got to see you perform out of some of the competitions and things of that nature. And I'll just mention the name. X Blue Rain. Matter of fact, she's going to be one of the guests coming up on another show of ours, and then Lightning. And I've watched you out on the circuit. Tell us, as far as being in St. Louis, what made you get started, in your genre there?
To go back, I started out in theater in
Mhm.
high school and college. I went away for a while from the entertainment life, and then one day a friend invited me out to Legacy Books and Cafe
Mhm.
and asked me to come see them because they were featuring. They were music artists, and so while I was there, I seen all these different poets perform. People like Shane Brown, a pregnant X Blue Rain, Poet Lightning, a gang of people. It was confliction, and with me watching them, I got encouraged. So
Oh, wow.
I wanted to get back into that life, and it made me get back encouraged to write. So I was writing every night.
Now, you being from St. Louis, the typical St. Louis question, you mentioned college, but the typical St. Louis question everybody has to ask, what high school did you go to? If you're not from St. Louis, they won't understand, but that's a typical St. Louis question.
Well, believe it or not, I attended Normandy High School.
Okay.
Graduated class of '99. Top of my class. 3.0 grade point average. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. Smart. You're a smart guy, huh?
Yeah, I was. My mom kept us on our grades.
Oh, okay. Was she a school teacher?
No.
No, okay,
No,
but she stayed on top of you, though.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
she stayed on top of you. Now, I understand that you were the 2013 National Poetry Awards nominee. Kind of tell us, about that event endeavor there.
Well, that experience, for me, it was like, I voted. Biden voted, and people voted. I did not know I was going to get nominated, and I went to sleep, and then I got a call from Blue. Blue told me, "You need to check your computer. Go to your Facebook page." I'm like, "What?" You'll see when you get there. And so when I got there, I'm like, "Wow, I'm nominated." So,
and what was it the nomination for? What was it?
For that category at the time of Slam Artist of the Year.
Wow. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot and have you do something for us before we're done, though, right? You knew that it was coming, didn't you?
I kind of figured it out.
You not only are you a poet, you also a singer, dancer. Man, you just got all those hit times. I want you to say, I'll actually do a spoken word piece, and then I may ask you to sing something, and then we're not going to ask you to dance. We want to ask you to dance. So since you dressed up real nice and everything, we want to actually dance. We'll get you to switch your clothes out and stuff like that. But yeah, now, with all the things what's your primary genre that you would really prefer as far as literature-wise?
Poetry.
Poetry.
I love poetry. A lot of people can't understand it, but for me, it's like second language. And for me, I can actually read it, understand what the writer or the poet is saying. For me, it's the greatest way of expression.
Okay. Okay. I mean, so how would you in expressing that? How do you express that? I mean, is it on a radical format? Is it more of a loving? Is it soft spoken? Is it because there's some slamming stuff out there, and there's some really harsh stuff out there. So I mean, when you perform your pieces, or I mean, because I've heard there's some cutthroat stuff out there that really belittles people. I mean, and maybe it doesn't tend to do that, but some people it's like, man, you just talked about me, and you just slammed the women, you just slammed, everybody.
Well, for me, I write on any level. Personally.
Okay.
I do have my love poems as well as my angry pieces. One of my signature pieces is called IDGAF, and anybody who's a texter, they know what that means. But it's not necessarily for.
So what is IDG?
I don't give a
Oh, okay.
But the thing about that poem is, it's for those people who had a long week, who's tired, don't want to hear nobody's problems. They just want to relax, and you just have to tell me this one time. I don't give up. So
So whatever you want to add to I don't give up, you just add it on in there.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Man. Okay. Now what about the loved ones?
I love the loved ones. Like Passion Loves Poetry is a storyline of two people sharing a love of poetry in a recording studio one night.
Now, are they based? So when you're doing this, when you're doing your poems, and I often wonder, is it based on some type of experience in your life that has caused you to write what you've written? So if I'm going to write something on love, is it based on a relationship that you may have been in? If I'm going to write it on bitterness or anger, is it somebody that pissed you off and you like, I'm just going to like slam this person but not just like I'm going to do it publicly, but use it anonymously to say this is what I'm doing.
Well, for me, it's more so. I would say some experience, probably just a feeling. A lot of times, whatever I feel, whatever's in my head, I write it down, or I leave it there and let it marinate for a while. But for the most part, maybe it's inspired by other people. I'm always inspired by other people. So with the inspiration of other people, the writings do come. I may see something on TV, and I'm like, oh, wow, and I might get the first line always pops up in my head. So
wow. So speaking of writing about people, who's your favorite author? What's one of your favorite authors?
My favorite author would be Alex Haley.
Alex Haley. Wow. He's that's a deep brother.
Yes.
Very deep. Now, have you written any poems based on some of his writings and some of the historical things that that he has done, or contributions that he's made to our world literary society?
I not necessarily have. For Alex Haley, I would say it would be more so of I enjoy his writings for entertainment.
Okay.
To read, just to take myself away from reality.
So is that your primary reading, just on the literary side, or is there other things that you read as a spoken word artist?
Well, I read a lot of different things. I like to read a lot of biographies, books with a lot of message. It's just a variety of different books depending on what I'm feeling at the time. And I do read other poets like X Blue Rain, Maya Angelou, various people.
Okay. I understand with the volunteerism and all of that goes on. Are you open to volunteerism? And I guess the reason I'm asking, how does someone volunteer with the literacy projects? And I guess some of the things that you're doing and working on. You can tell us a little bit about that.
As far as that goes, I would, writers, us, more so friends. So if he was like, say, hey, this is something I would think you would feel good on writing, including, I might include it. Like my most recent book was a Christmas poetry book.
Okay.
And I had went to 3-4 people, and I told them about the project. Say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to include you. I want to feature you in this. You're like, no,
Well, see that I was going to ask that question. With poets, it seems as though it's tight of a niche that it is. And sometimes it could be. I'll just say, I keep it straight talk. It could be cutthroat. I'm just gonna keep it real. That's a cutthroat, tight society, just like any other genre, though. But it's more so you guys are very competitive. Seems like in what you do, but at the same time, the message. Each one of you have a different message in which you portray based on your own personal experiences or things that have happened in your life. But it just seems like and the reason I say that is because when I start doing the spoken word show, some of the questions that came out, why are you doing that? You're not even a poet. Why should you be the whole stuff?
right.
So I got that, and even here, and I'm talking about here in St. Louis, I got that, but just because I'm not part of quote unquote the family of spoken word artists, that doesn't mean someone can come in and say we want to do a show because and feature the spoken word artist. And so I experienced that. So I guess I'm wondering, with you guys being either you do it on your own, don't come to me for help because I'm competing against you because I may have to compete with you on the national level. That sort of type of thing. Whereas, if a gal wants to come and say, "Hey, Raj," I mean, if I had people say, "I want to be a talk show host. Can you show me the ins and outs?" And I'll say, "Oh, sure, come on board." But that's what I've seen sometimes in the spoken word community. Not to say that it's across the board with everybody, but at some points in what you just alluded to, what you were just saying, either they want to be included or they don't want to be included. Some people don't. That's your project. You do your project because I got my own thing. I don't include you. Whether it be personal. Can you come to a person like a DJ and say, "Hey, man, I need you to help me write this piece. I'm not too sure about what I'm doing." Especially when you just start and you just write some stuff. Oh man, that's some crafty. What the heck was that?
I would say it's more so based on individuality.
Okay.
Personally, because of the fact that it was, I would say it just really all depends on the individual. Me, I don't have a problem helping people. Mm-hmm. I've assisted some recent authors help release their first book, but poets, like you said, is a cutthroat industry. I would say if we're like in a writing lab, mm-hmm. and I hope they're not fighting me about this because we all may write a cipher. Mm-hmm. We may work together and write a cipher. And I have my part, they have their part. We all come in and work together. And that's probably about the only time you will see that happen.
But is there a respect or disrespect for poets because I am competing with you, and it's no different. Again, it's no different than talk show hosts. We have love for each other. Than singers, songwriters, because at the end of the day, they have their blood against them too. I mean, they go, like I said, it's in all the genres, though. But at the end of the day, if we come together for common good versus being at each other's throat, because I just don't like you just because you just wrote a piece that will sound better than mine, and they're not going to tell you that, but that's where it's going.
I would say for some mm-hmm. of the poets, probably, but for the majority, we show respect for one another.
Okay.
If that's what this person's doing, if this person wants to do a poem about politics and this person wants to do a poem about love, and the love got more recognition than this politics, out of consideration, you still respect them because we may love mm-hmm. what they're doing versus what the audience may.
Right, exactly. I mean, again, you all understand the craft. I just like going to some of these slam poetry events just because it's just so unique. You get all these different flavors, and I guess when I first went to one, it was at night. Of course, it's like, man, it's raw. It almost could be a comedy show to the point that, I thought it was like on a Def Jam comedy relief because I'm like, some of the stuff that came out of the mouths of some of these artists, yeah. It's raw and uncut, And so if you're not prepared for that, and I went and I said, oh, it was my first experience. I had saw some, but the unedited, that was the edited version. But then when I saw the unedited version, up close and personal and just raw, downright dirty, and you name it, it was there. So, and I guess now, do you have any pieces like that, or you just keep yours pretty much clean, like mama, grandmama can listen to them and not be offended and ashamed?
Well, for me, I write it down an expanded range, so I do have erotica.
Okay.
And when the first time I did erotica, and people were like shocked because I'd never done it before, and they hear it, it's like, wow, did he just say this word and that word? How many times did he say this word? I'm like, I'm human.
Wow.
But I mean, it's all a part of who we are. Some of us gonna be uncut, some of us gonna be out there.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to, continue our conversation with none other than spoken word artist and also publisher Kaiser Riffick. And after these messages, we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted.
Join us here on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. for a Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted. Host Roger Hunt will explore the lives of others in many arenas of our society with discussions that will inform, inspire, encourage, and enlighten those who we interact with in our daily lives. Featuring hot topics in the news, experts in their field, intimate interviews, and great entertainment. Join us for Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30.
We are back in the studio here with none other than brother Kaiser Riffick. Kaiser Riffick. I guess you're a terrific brother. You're Kaiser, you're Riffick, terrific, all that good stuff like that. But, we were talking about you being a spoken word artist. We're going to get into your book in a minute. But before we do that, since we had a little break there and everything, I want you to just kind of, give us a piece, one of your pieces that maybe you performed on stage, but of course, a clean version of it.
Right.
If you can do that, I'm sure you all got the clean and the unclean stuff, but we won't keep it clean here, for television and everything. And so if you can, just, what's this piece called? Tell us about the piece that you're about to do.
Well, it's taken from my new book. It's called Maya.
Okay.
And it's a tribute to Dr. Maya Angelou. When she passed, I wrote that.
Okay.
Exactly maybe the day or 2 days after.
Wow.
And just to pay homage to her for what she's done into our world.
Okay. So, well, let's hear what you got, man.
Okay. She was our black queen, our poetry queen, a phenomenal queen, and now this queen is in heaven reciting to our king. She knew why the caged bird sings, expressively wise with her words as she said great things. Never afraid to tell the truth, ashamed of the devil as to why her work was left for many generations to follow. She was one poet that knew her purpose to her art and life on so many levels. Her family and close friends knew her as Marguerite, but the world knew her as Maya. Either way, we love this woman as she loved us, to inspire us, to motivate us, to uplift us, most definitely to educate us. Not only was she a poet, but an educator, taught women that they too can be phenomenal. And as she said, still I rise, gave us meaning of new hope. Not only Maya was there with us through the struggle, but taught us how to deal with it as we cope. Maya Angelou was more than a woman. She was a matriarch of history for us poets, our mother of poetry. She lived through the movement. And that's part of it.
Okay, great, man. All right, that's what's up, man. All right. A tribute to Maya Angelou. That's what's up, man. Have you sent that out to any of the family, or just kind of kept it to yourself, or just? And we gotta get into your book, by the way. So a piece like that, for example, how long does it take for you to write something like that? Excuse me.
Normally, for me, if it's a good piece that I really am feeling, it should take no more than about 10, 15 minutes.
Wow.
And if it's something I really have to really think about and consider, it probably takes some days.
How many pieces have you written over the course of the years that you've been writing poetry?
I've been writing poetry since I was 11 years old, so my catalog is running anywhere including collaborations and unreleased stuff, around 300.
300 pieces. Wow. So, with the books that you've written, the nine books, correct?
Yes.
9 books, book of poetry, book of just stories and things of that nature. How many of those have, out of the 300, how many would you say are in those publications?
No, with this one is with the new one is about 50. I eat anywhere between 30 to 50 poems.
Wow. So now, do you consider yourself, with all of the 300 pieces, of course, some published, some unpublished, a literary success?
I do.
Oh, and I mean, I would hope that you would, because gosh, man, was it? And I guess just like in any other genre, you starting, and I may have asked this question before, the difficulty of starting, but now that you've gotten into it, do you find it much easier now that you can just kind of flow through it and to put your pen to the paper and just start, being creative?
It comes a lot clearer now.
Okay.
Because when I got back into it, it didn't come as clear, and then I look back over some of the old writings. I'm like, did I say this? And I go back, revise, and change. So now it's just really easier for me to just write something.
Okay. So the challenges. Just tell us some of as being an author, because even with speaking with the other author prior to you, Miss Serena King, what are some of the challenges that you faced as becoming a publisher? Again, of course, you got 9 books out there. How difficult is it? Because again, once you do one, they say, "Oh, it's easy. You can do the next one." The funding and the support group and getting editors and copywritten, all that kind of stuff, and all that stuff that you have to go through to make sure that you're doing the right thing legally. The CPA, the attorneys, all this kind of stuff behind the scenes that we don't see.
Right. I would say for me, it's more so the support.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing and promotion is very hard when you're self-published, because you're doing everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you really have to push yourself out there to get noticed, to get people. You have to know what people like, what's going to grab their attention. So for me to write in that long expanding of different genres, I do that just to make sure maybe I can touch on what one is wanting, one may be needing, and what one may be desiring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say for the most part, it's marketing and promotion for that. So, and support, because when you're home and you're in your hometown, it's a little hard. It's harder.
Is it harder then? Really? It's hard at home?
Yeah.
Is it because of the, I won't use this term as quote unquote haters, or is it just the competition, or is it just people they know you?
They know.
I can't say that they don't know you, but everybody doesn't know you, but enough people that know you would think that would support you, because I'm not supposed that you got a book. You would think that, I got a book out, they're going to come running to buy it.
Right.
That's not the case. But you probably do better outside of your market.
Right.
And I've heard that it's so true, though. And it's odd that we, while you're respected in your market, you may not be supported like you would think that you would be supported in your market. Right. So you go outside, because people don't know you, and they want to know, who is Azarific? Who is this guy? Who is this new kid coming up?
And it's interesting, because when you do come back to home after you've made your success outside of your hometown, then your respect comes in, because you was able to go out there and actually do what you could have done here. But home is where everybody knows you, like you said. Mm-hmm. Everybody's working on something. Everybody's trying to get that piece of the pie.
Well, do you see, and would you take it as an offense that because, and I hear this from other artists that have left whatever markets they were in, their particular cities, some of them, not all of them, that they don't get the respect until they come back. Again, it's not just being a spoken word artist, but can be in any, and some of them don't even come back to the city because of the lack of respect that they did get. So do you find it in some cases offensive that, well, when I was here, y'all didn't want to support me. Now you all want to huddle around me. It's like, hey, kudos, Kaiser, you did a great job. But
I won't say offensive.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's a learning experience.
Okay.
Anything that I do is a learning experience, because because you have to go out there. You have to do it. Then come back. People would know. People would say he really took his thing seriously. He was passionate about what he does. Here, they may not take me seriously.
Okay. Now we're gonna get to this book. What I love about you. You know, my appreciation for women. You know, has a 5-star review on Amazon. Is that where the book can be found at?
Yes.
So tell us what made you write and put such a what I love about you. And it's interesting that your book and what I just interviewed, Miss Serena King, Loving Legit, you know, with her book, it's interesting. So, you know, and of course you just brought your book in hot off the press and everything. So it kind of tells a little bit about your book.
Well, what I love about you, my appreciation for women, I got challenged to a poem by another author because she felt that I was doing negative, and sending negative messages towards women, and it wasn't the case. I was speaking on something. So when I accepted the challenge, it's something about the poem uplifted a lot of women. And then I thought about it. I said, I need to write something. I need to put something together that women can appreciate. And remember that their importance, their value, their content, their value is everything important to us. Because without women, men have a hard time functioning. And I went deeper into this book because of the fact that the book was a little more personal for me. To get over hardships with past relationships and get over pain and just to uplift women, because I know there's a lot of women out here that are hurt, that dealt with such things. In this book, I wrote poems about rape, dealing with insecurities, women feeling that they have to be this kind of woman in order to get this kind of man, or be this kind of woman in order to live this type of lifestyle, and you don't.
Man, you sure you don't know Serena, the lady I just interviewed? You don't know her?
No.
Man, it sounds so much like Loving Legit. It really does. I'm serious. You got to get that book too. So, but
I will.
Matter of fact, I'll share my copy with you, and then I'll share that copy with her. So we'll do that.
Okay.
We call it a book exchange. It's the book exchange. You know, you get a book from an author, and that's what apparently do that in the book world. You know, just exchange book, read it, and just pass it on.
Right.
You know, you help somebody else promote it, and that's how you promote the book as well too. So, the creative development for your book. You know, what can you tell us about that part of it?
Well, when I sat down with a few people, I was trying to figure out how do I want to make this book cover stand out. So I took every woman who has inspired me in my life, and in this time of me being Kaiserific.
And some of those women are
X-Blue Rain, Shay Brown, Poet Lightning, my manager, former manager, friend